When my grandmother, Eleanor Whitmore, was moved into hospice care, the house felt emptier than it ever had before. Not because she was gone, but because something else was missing: the antique piano. It stood in the living room my entire childhood. A dark walnut grand piano from the 1920s, passed down through generations. My grandma used to play it every evening, her fingers moving slowly, lovingly, as if the piano was alive. When I was 8, she sat me on the bench beside her and said, "One day, this piano will be yours. Not because it's valuable, but because you listen when it sings." Years later, when her health declined, she made it official in her will. The piano was left to me, only me. Everyone knew that. Or so I thought. One afternoon, after visiting Grandma at hospice, I went back to my parents' house. The living room felt wrong. Too quiet, too empty. I stood frozen, staring at the spot where the piano used to be. "Where's Grandma's piano?" I asked. My mother didn't look up from her phone. "Oh, we sold it." The words didn't register. "You what?" My father cleared his throat. "It was just sitting there, and your sister needed a car." That's when my younger sister, Melissa, walked in, smiling. She tossed her car keys in the air. "A BMW," she said casually. "Brand new." I felt sick. "How much did you sell it for?" My mom finally looked at me. $95,000. The room spun. "That piano wasn't yours to sell," I whispered. "It was left to me." Grandma made that clear. My mother sighed, annoyed. "Oh, please, it's just an object. Your sister needed help." I looked at Melissa. She shrugged. "You don't even play piano that much." That night, I cried harder than I had in years. But the worst part, Grandma didn't know yet. The next morning, I sat beside Grandma's bed. She looked fragile, smaller, but her eyes were still sharp. She smiled. "Did you play the piano this week?" My chest tightened. I hesitated. Then I told her everything. The sale, the money, the car. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she reached for her phone. Her hand shook, but her voice didn't. She dialed one number. When someone answered, she said calmly, "Hello, this is Eleanor Whitmore. It's time for them to meet my attorney." She hung up, looked at me, and smiled softly. "They forgot who paid for that piano," she said, "and who still owns the house they live in." 2 days later, my parents received legal papers. They were furious. They accused me of manipulating a sick old woman, but the truth came out quickly. The piano wasn't just sentimental. It was listed in Grandma's legally binding trust. Selling it without my consent was illegal. But that wasn't all. The house my parents lived in still legally belonged to Grandma. And now, she was changing everything. The attorney gave them 2 choices: return the full $95,000 or face legal action. And eviction, Melissa had to return the car. My parents had to take out a loan to repay the money. And the piano, gone forever. But Grandma looked at me and said, "They took what was yours, but I made sure they lost more." She updated her will. I inherited the house, the remaining savings, and every piece of family history they took for granted. A week later, Grandma passed peacefully. At her funeral, my parents stood quietly in the back. They didn't speak to me. They didn't have to. Months later, I bought a small upright piano. It's not the same, but every time I play, I remember her words. Some people hear music, others only hear money. And now, finally, justice sounds beautiful.